One of the common mistakes I see leaders make all the time is they don't ask nearly enough questions of their employees. They give out tasks, they give instructions, they set expectations, and then they walk away from those conversations assuming that their employee has heard the message, is prepared to dive in, knows exactly what needs to be done, and is on it. And sometimes they come back weeks, maybe even a month later, and realize that their employee has not been successful, and they feel disappointed, they feel frustrated, they feel angry. I had a client that had this happen to him just the other day. And one of the questions that I had for my client when he was telling me that he was struggling with being fair or firm or being frustrated versus being empathetic was, how many questions did you ask your employee? So at the time of the expectation being set, did you ask your employee things like, hey, what are you understanding about this? Tell me what you plan to do over the next couple of weeks to make sure we're set up for the next conversation. Would you mind sharing with me what you've heard today? How do you feel about what you're hearing today? What do you think about this assignment I'm giving you? What questions do you have? What concerns do you have? In the interim, in the couple of weeks that goes by between us asking our employees to do something and meeting with them again, we can continue to ask questions. We can reach out to them and just say, hey, how's that going? Where are you at with it? Are you having success? Do you have everything you need? What do you need from me to make sure that we're set up for the conversation that's coming up in the future? This shows our employees that it's important, we're interested, we are planning on following up, we didn't forget, we are going to talk about it again. And then let's say we get to the second table where it's time for the update and our employees failed us. They didn't do what we expected. We can still ask questions then. Hey, tell me a little bit about what happened here. Why weren't we successful? My remembrance was that today we were going to have the follow-up conversation on A, B, and C, and that you would come back prepared to share X, Y, and Z with me. That's not happening. What happened here? What went on with that? What was your understanding when we left the first conversation? Questions like this help us understand if our employees are truly prepared to execute, if they understand what's going on, if they're excited about it, if they are ready. And they also help our employees know that we are going to follow up on it and hold them accountable. What we've talked about does matter, and we're expecting everybody to follow through and do their part. When we don't ask questions like this, we never get to find out where our employees are really at, and people walk away from meetings sometimes on a very different page than the page we're on. I can't tell you the number of times I've asked someone to just simply repeat back to me what the plan is, what my expectations are, what I want to see happen, what's going to be done, and they give me something completely different than what we just talked about. And it's always been amazing to me because I've thought, we've just talked about it. We were in the same conversation, the same meeting. But I love an old quote from a former boss of mine: what you said may not be what they heard. And as much as this sucks, oftentimes it's the leader's fault and responsibility to make sure that what they heard was the same thing as what you said. So if you want to be a better leader, ask more questions. Always be asking questions. Make sure you're not assuming your people are with you and they're on board. Ask for sure. Find out. Don't assume that you know. With that, everybody make a great day, and I hope you go lead someone in a brilliant way this week.